raise their hand anymore, do they? This is, you have to state where you're from or any of that stuff. Back home, just shout them out.
Nick, all through the playoffs, you made a point of living in the moment and game by game. You don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
So what's been like 48 hours?
Geez, I don't know. It's hard to explain it, to be honest with you. You know, super happy for the team and the guys. I think whenever you get to the end with a championship, all those days that you woke up, which is like every single one of them, you know, figuring out how to get there, and when you get there, it makes, you know, each and every day of hard work that you put in and all that, you know, the thought and process is really worth it. It really does. And the rest of it's just been too wild to explain, to be honest. You know, right from the buzzer sounding and the 8 million things that have happened in the last 48 hours. It's just almost, it's hard to explain. I have a friend of mine here from Iowa, and he texted me and said, do you realize you were getting interviewed by Kevin McHale, Grant Hill, and Isaiah Thomas after the game, you know, like immediately after the game? And I said, no, I didn't realize it. I don't, you know, and the point is when I was a kid, I was watching McHale every year in those games, and Isaiah, you know, I was in college when Isaiah, 89, 90, and I didn't even hit me when I was getting interviewed by him, but just, you know, all kinds of stuff like that going on.
You also said, like, you weren't that aware of the connection or the impact the team and the wins had made.
Yeah.
Presume you got a little better feel for what this is all meant to people around?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Obviously, I've well, I wouldn't say unleashed, but I got a really tight wrap on not listening to anything and reading anything and et cetera. And I just figured that was part of the job, to be honest, to make sure there was only so much you could spend your energy on, and what I wanted to spend my energy on was a team and the results of the games. But yeah, it's really something. It's really something. Just the reception and some of the things that you bumped into along the way, and you know, getting off the plane last night was exciting for me, and a couple other things going on.
You're winning championships, and I know.
Hi, Steve. Oh man, I recognize you there.
When you're winning championships in other leagues and in other countries and other places, and probably in the back of your mind, you're saying, one day I want to do this in the NBA. Now that you've done it, compared to winning in the other places, how different does it feel?
Well, it's the magnitude of it here is just again, it's so huge, right? I talked to Sergio Scariolo right afterwards, and I said to him, "Well, how does this compare to you, Olympics? You know, he's in the European Cup or the Euro League or whatever," and he just kind of said, "This is just so big, right?" And you know, that's obviously the biggest difference. I can't remember your question now. How does it compare to him?
How
Yeah.
different does it feel?
Going through it all felt very similar. I'm not kidding you. In fact, a lot of my players text me congratulations, and I told them, man, I felt this felt just like the run we had at Iowa, or this felt just like the run we had at Rio Grande. You know, as far as the toughness of the games and the length of the run, and you know, just the players we had, there was so many similarities to all those things, but then when it's over, obviously, again, the magnitude of what's happening here in Toronto and Canada and all that is very, you know, quite different.
Nick, Kyle and Kawhi made vague reference to some behind-the-scenes adversity that went on in the middle of the season, talking to ESPN the other day. One, can you shine any more light on that? And two, how important was getting over some of those things in terms of building the character of this team throughout the season?
Well, I think when you look back on that, all the adversities that you have end up kind of boosting your character, the strength of your character as you go. I think getting over any of those things along the way and how you handle them, they're necessary parts of it. They really are. Like You know, the game ones were obvious. You know which ones those were. And I said a lot that we bounced almost immediately back from all those, like just like the next day almost. And that was a really good sign, I thought. You know, and some of the behind the scenes ones, I only can remember a couple, to be honest. And they were needed, expected. I expected them to happen. They were needed to happen, and I thought that the outcome would be what it is. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but I thought the team would become better at the end of those couple tussles we had.
Yeah, what have you learned about yourself in this year?
What have I learned about myself? That's a good question, Doug. I don't know. I think if I could say a growth area for me was I really, it's going to sound strange, I really wasn't that nervous much. And I remember being a hell of a lot more nervous in this coaching early in my career, and a little bit more emotional, a little bit more, I don't know, charged up. What would you say, Steve? I've been more charged up this in my life. One of my former assistants back there. And this will sound funny, but one of the most nervous times I had this year was, and I told Masai this too, was I think it was game 3 at Orlando in the middle of the third quarter, and we were up like 12. And all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, what's going on with me here? I was just like, man, I'm nervous as hell. What the hell's going on here? And I hadn't been hardly all year felt that, you know? So I got up out of my chair and went to half court and yelled something at somebody and kind of tried to get over it real quick. And but that's probably the main thing, Doug. I just never felt like I was, even like before games, I didn't feel like that, you know, like the guys helped with that, you know, even Josh, back to your question, you know, those guys, Kawhi, and those guys, Mark and Danny, Fred, are pretty steady influences. And I just didn't see them getting rattled much. And I think that we were kind of bouncing that back and forth. Maybe I was taking more from them than I was giving them, to be honest.
You said at the beginning of the year that you didn't want to coach scared this year.
Yeah.
First year
Yeah.
in the NBA. And you went through all of this. You pulled out a box and won in the final. You tried stuff all the way along up to and including that.
Yep.
Was that something you had to kind of remind yourself of, or was that just something that you
Both a little bit. I think it's you know, combination of, like, you know, they're saying, well, what would you go boxing 1 for? I mean, like, it wasn't as crazy an idea as it probably seems, even though nobody's probably done it much. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember seeing one NBA game, and I've watched a lot of the finals over the last 30 years, but it just felt to me like we needed exactly that at that moment. And I've run them before, you know, several times, and it just didn't seem like that big a roll of the dice to me. I mean, and I get it. Like, it doesn't bother me like when, I mean, you want some examples. You guys were all over my asses for not playing quiet enough in game 1 of Orlando. And a week later, you're all over my asses for playing them too much. Like, and I know everybody was all over my ass for the timeout in game 5. That stuff doesn't bother me at all, because I know that it's just not. It's almost like there's 1% truth in it. Like, there's a loss there, and everybody's looking for something, and they grab it, and there's 1,000 good things there that nobody even saw. So it doesn't, and I know that, and I guess I carry that same thing into, is a team prepared? Hope so. We bust our butts to get them prepared for every game, right? Do they feel like they can win the game? Well, hopefully, right? No matter who we're playing, we got to go in there and say, I said this in the press conference today, say, geez, how in the hell are we going to beat these guys? Is your first thought, and then you say, we got to be able to figure this out. And that's the last thought they should be going on. And that's what we were doing. And when you do that, you don't get too nervous, or you shouldn't.
In the aftermath of the celebration, was there a conversation or a moment with a coach or a player or family that was particularly resonant to you?
Yeah, I mean, there was tons of them.
Eric. I mean, a lot of them. A lot of former players, former assistant coaches, high school teammates, college accounting major, fellow accounting majors. You know, I mean, there was a lot of them that people were saying and sending some good, and like some of my really, really good coaching friends would comment on things about, liked what you said about loving every one of those little jobs you had. And at the moment you had them, you loved them. And you never got frustrated about it. I just didn't. And I say this all the time. I knew I was getting better each and every year, a little bit. And if I didn't think I was going to the next year, I usually left and found another job. And because I wanted to improve, like I left my home state, Iowa, to go to McAllen, Texas, because I wanted to learn the analytics stuff from the Rockets. And I didn't think staying, I was already in Iowa for 4 years as a head coach. I didn't think staying was going to do me much good. And I was always kind of searching for just trying to improve. And I think that's, in this business, that's your deal. I mean, I'm getting ready to take another situation here soon because I think it's going to make me a better coach. And just keep doing that until we stop doing it.
I'll ask about that other situation.
Yep.
The reports of the Canadian national team.
Yep.
Will you speak to that, or are you interested? Is it going to get done? Where are we on that process?
Yeah, I mean, it's just about done, Doug, and it's something I'm looking forward to doing.
Is that because of your national experience in the past? You'd like to rekindle that a little bit, or
Yeah.
why would you take that on?
Biggest reason is I did it with Great Britain in 2012 for 4 years leading up there, 4 or 5 years leading up to her, and I it's a selfish reason as I saw a lot of improvement. I learned a lot as a coach in that run, and I'm hoping this experience will do the same. That's one. Two, I think there's some really good players, right? I think there's some really good players. It's a unique time with the World Cup and the Olympics within a, short 13, 14-month window. And it fits in okay, right? I'm just giving up some vacation time.
You haven't won the championship
Yep.
in Oakland. How excited are you to share this moment? You spoke about the magnitude, just the immersing crowd here at this Toronto
Yeah.
tomorrow. I mean, MLSE says they're expecting 1.5 to 2 million people to show up along.
That's it? That's it. I bet you there's more than that there tomorrow. I'll take the over on that. Okay. I'm excited. I'm super excited. It's phenomenal. I mean, you guys probably get it. I mean, I stopped at one place last night on the way home last night, and the whole place went crazy when I walked in the door. Right, and it's the whole everybody's. It's awesome. It's exciting. The people waiting at the airport last night. I don't know. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like tomorrow. I think again, it's there's a lot of specialness to it because the first one and the way the Canadians went about this and how much they supported the teams. I mean, it makes me smile every time when I the national anthems were awesome, and you could see it almost on the Golden State coaches and players that our whole crowd was singing and singing loud, and you could almost see it on them that they were like, oh shit, we got our hands full here. I mean, this is some energy and momentum and all this kind of stuff that we're gonna have to deal with, and I'd be foolish to tell you that it didn't help us.
Nick, even as you've been celebrating this win, we've seen the league start to reshape itself for next season with the big trade yesterday. Forgive me if you will for kind of.
No, that's okay, not at all.
For better or for worse, you're in charge of a team that has a lot of questions moving.
Yep.
How do you kind of start to plot the course for next season and what's next for this Raptors team?
Well, Bobby and I have already had 2 meetings about it since the championship. I mean, the reality is it's right upon us, and we get to work. I know I've got several meetings today after this conference with some players, so you don't have any choice but to get to work on it. And my thought always is stay hungry. man, we gotta get our guys we want back and get ready for the draft, which is a few short days away. And that's one thing I told him last year in the draft. It was my first time in one, and we didn't even have any picks. And a couple things almost shook down, a couple trades and this and that almost happened that we ended up with some guys. And I said to them, I was so impressed with how hungry the scouts and guys were in that draft. When a couple things didn't go the way they wanted, how upset they were because they'd worked so hard and I said, that's what we got to do. We got to stay hungry, man.
Is one of those
This,
meetings,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
is one of those meetings tonight with Kawhi Leonard? Because I think that was a big question.
I'm not sure actually. I know I'm seeing 7 players today. I have no idea which ones they are quite yet. I'll probably find that out here in a little bit. But I don't know if he's one of them or not tonight. I really don't know who any of them are actually. I know I got 7 of them though.
The other question, before in the past, a lot of the NBA teams, when they won, they went to the White House to celebrate. Have you received an invitation from the White House or from Trudeau from Rideau Hall?
Not that I know of on either one. Yeah, I don't know on either one.
Can you shed any light on Kawhi's future?
Not that I know of. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I know he's got to make a decision here really soon, right? A couple weeks. I think he's he had a good season and people like him here and we can give him a good deal. I don't know if I'm even allowed to comment on my own guy. So let's move on. Who knows the rules these days? Here we go.
You talked so much about the season players. Can you tell us what it was like as head coach to watch some of the younger players grow, like Pascal and Fred?
Yeah, that's always. I mean, it's critical in this day and age that you got some youth that performs at all-star level. It's just the way the makeup of the rosters are all going to be pretty much that you've got to have a couple of youngish guys that step into some monster roles, and they were unbelievable. I mean, for what Pascal did this year, just as a consistent performer. I mean, there was hardly any. I mean, usually guys his age are like all over the place, right? You're seeing glimpses of greatness, and then I mean, he had like a few little blips. And one of them was in the finals. And then what he do came back and played like 46 minutes the next night and was unbelievable. Like just answered immediately. It was a good trademark of our team. And then I know Fred got 1 vote for the finals MVP. So that's pretty good for an undrafted guy that's like 5'10" and really slow. Right? Just makes up for it all with really tough and smart. And whew, he's got some, yeah, but smart one. A guy that's seen a game or two.
What's your reaction to the big Lakers deal yesterday?
My reaction is I don't even know. You tell me what the deal is. I know Davis went, but I think I heard the Ball went back. And 3 picks. Who else? Ingram.
And Josh Hart.
That's a big trade. I think that's a big trade. I'm not sure who got the better end of that yet. Give me another day or 2 to think about that one.
Just a few more Raptors questions, please. Just back to Fred, his turnaround, from struggling at the start to closing the game-clinching game.
Yeah.
In the past few days, have you had a chance to step back and just marvel at that was?
Well, the good news and the bad news about Fred is he's incredibly tough, right? That's good news because he needs to be able to do what he did in those games. He's unbelievably tough physically and mentally, person like beyond belief. Sometimes he's too tough. And that was probably he probably played through so many minor injuries or even a little more than minor injuries during the year that he wasn't playing up to his capabilities, and he wouldn't say anything to anybody. So when he was healthy this year, man, he was unbelievable. And even the games that he didn't shoot it very well, he was always really good. So, I don't know, we're lucky to have him.
Kind of you.
Nah, he's a billion times better than I was. A billion times better. I don't know. He's him, and he's pretty good, man.
Nick, you've mentioned before that you wanted to make sure you hired coaches that were head coaches before or had potential to be a head coach. What's the reason for that?
Well, I just think that from my own experiences, I always said that like 1 year, like in the D League as a head coach, was worth about 5 as an assistant anywhere. And I just think when you've got to get up in front of the team and make statements and decisions and call timeouts and make substitutions and decide what you're going to do at practice, and it just elevates heightens the awareness of what you got to do each and every day. And then plus it lets you be in that seat and lets you feel like the guy that's in that seat. You know, instead of always just kind of throwing suggestions, and you never really know if your suggestions are any good or not, to be honest. Right? Take some, don't take some, take some. You know, so I just wanted to get some guys with head coaching experience. Obviously, Nate had a bunch. You know, and Andy was an assistant of mine, so I know him. Sergio's head coach for 30 years. So that was a reason to take a couple of those guys.
Did you notice that they were able to
They were awesome.
frame things because of that, or
Yeah.
come up with realistic suggestions?
They were awesome. I think that's probably under evaluated maybe on a team is the chemistry that a coaching staff has to have as well. We had incredible chemistry with the staff, from just acceptance of roles, uniqueness of ideas. I couldn't say more about like you know, the whole crew, like Adrian Griffin and how good he was as far as commanding the room when he needed to. Like really made some strides defensively because he was getting on their asses. You know, he was we're doing this because we're learning and trying to get better, and they respected him because he was 20 years in the NBA. And Sergio's uniqueness of seeing, he saw things, man, really good things, really good little things of let's just cut this guy here and not cut him there, and they were critical things that were going on there. And then Nate's just kind of always my guy that's telling me all the time we can do it. Right? I mean, he's a really good basketball coach, but he's one of those super positive guys that he just would never let the wheels come off, even when I'd be like, we're really in trouble, and he'd hit me in the ribs, say, we're gonna win, you know, we're down 18 and we're gonna win, and damn we would, you know, or something. And he's done that with me a lot of years. And then there's a couple other guys too. Phil Handy's got the best player development moniker, and it's for real. The very best players in the league want to work out with him all the time. I've seen it from KD to Kobe to LeBron to Kawhi. It's something to have a guy like that on your staff. And one other guy that I'd really like to talk about is John Goodwillie. You guys know him; he's been around forever. But he was my Golden State assistant during the finals. And he looked at our team as he was them, and brought a really unique perspective to that really helped me prepare for the games in between, and he's been great.
Nick, you spoke before about how Marc Gasol was come during the finals. Could you speak a little bit about what he has provided to the team, not just on the court, but outside the locker room?
Yeah, well, you know, he's a unique person, right? He's a really interesting person just in general. Very smart, intelligent, easy to talk to away from basketball about non-basketball related things, you know, which is cool. But you know, the main things he brought to us, I thought again, was our team sense of who we thought we could become. I think after we had him for a few games, we were like, you know, this guy's good. He's smart. He can pass. You know, everybody was like, man, we're better, and we could become really good. So I think that's a big thing to contribute to a team, and then to watch him play through the games and the ups and downs. And I've talked about some of these too. When he was really struggling, I can't remember when it was. Now he was about ready to get pulled out of one series, Milwaukee maybe. Ring a bell with anybody? He was 1 for 9, or was it Milwaukee? And I talked to him, called him up, and he says, you know, tomorrow I'm going to be great. And I was like, okay, good. You know, and he was unbelievable the next night. Like, so you just amazing journey, coached against him a lot overseas as well. Amazing. So I've kind of seen him grow up for a while. I even coached against Pau. Pau was like 19 years old when I coached against Barcelona. I was coaching the London Towers. Pau was 19, 20 maybe. So that was a long time ago. It's a hell of a game in Barcelona. Had him down 8 a couple minutes ago. Got away from us. But anyway, Mark was he was awesome. A great leader and a tough competitor for this team.
Nick, for a guy like Kyle, you sometimes can be prickly, always competitive, and usually pretty locked in on what he's doing. To see him finally kind of let loose after the win, the championship, show the kind of joy that, I mean, just seeing it on his face. What was that like to see that version of Kyle after your experience with him over the last 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, my thing with Kyle is first of all, I'm incredibly happy for him that he achieved this incredible goal as a player. Like, geez, man, it's really something, you know, that he's gets to call himself an NBA champ. I'm incredibly happy for him. I just think that there was a good portion of this season, the majority of it, where he was as incredible off the floor and in the locker room as he was on it. Okay? And that was, like I said, a majority of this season, he was like so fun to coach. I mean, when a guy is that good, is that smart, and I've always said this, I've never seen anybody play harder than this guy, ever. And that to me is like the ultimate compliment. I've never seen anybody play harder than this guy. And there's times in those film sessions where I can't believe it. That he's there was one play we were showing the other day. We went triangle and 2 in the game 5, and he ran out and challenged a shot over on the left wing. It bounced and went. He was pressuring Iguodala, the passer. Curry came off here. He ran over to him and challenged it, and the ball bounced on the rim and went flying that way. And he was the one. I don't know if you remember. He came skipping through about 3 guys and grabbed that rebound. I mean, I'm like showing that to the team and telling them, can anybody else, like, what if we all start doing just a little bit? You know what I mean? It's so anyway. I'm talking a lot today.
Last question.
OG, tough year from
Yep.
start to finish, with a full summer now coming up and going into his 3rd year. What are you expecting from him over the next few months?
Well, he's a super talented young player. Was a tough year for him. I guess, it's one of those things where we're going to have to try to almost go with the clean slate approach. Know where he is in our plans and let him know where he is in our plans, and then try to get him to go out and play some games. He's very young basketball-wise, and he needs to go play, and the more he can play, the more experience he'll get, and the better he will be. But we love his length, his athleticism. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He can guard. So he's valuable in this league in this day and age.
I don't know if you can comment on it. Would you consider sending him to Summer League if he was amenable to that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's probably past that.
Thanks very much, everybody.
All right. Thanks for coming. Yep. See you tomorrow.
Injuries, and maybe that factored into some of your performance at times. Can you kind of shed any light on what you were dealing with? I know you're back in a hip point, or maybe just explain a little bit what you were trying to play through at various times.
Yeah, I think just starting off from the gate, I mean, going into training camp feeling as good as I've ever felt, in great shape, ready to go, enthused, and excited after signing a nice contract. So going right into training camp, and I think I got banged up the first couple of days in training camp. Took a hit or whatever, played through the preseason, and it was the first 5 games, I had the toe injury. So from that point on, I was never really back to where I wanted to be, and the toe was more annoying than actually painful, and so I missed some time with that, and then the back crept in, and that was for the majority of the year. And some days better than others, and some games better than others, and sometimes it reflect. I had good games while I was hurting, and I had bad games while I was fresh, but sometimes it did affect the way I was playing, and so something I'll try to take care of in this off season is look and see what I can do better myself, and if it's nothing I can do, then it's nothing I can do, but just try to shore some things up so it doesn't happen again. And then the thumb came and a whole list of other things, hip pointer in game 3 or whatever so the last 4 games was moving half speed out there, but we won a championship, so all of those things kind of wash away, and feeling pretty good now. So obviously we wouldn't have got the job done. All my injuries would have been hurting a lot worse, but I'm feeling pretty good now.
But is it just kind of rehab type stuff you need to do?
Yeah, it's nothing major. I mean, I sprained my other thumb a few weeks ago, so I may just go get it looked at just because you never know. But I kind of been holding out just in fear that something is wrong with it. So we didn't get any pictures done. It was manageable, and so if I end up in New York, I may stop by and see the specialist, but nothing major. Everything else is just bumps and bruises.
For the thumbs, how much did that affect? Like we talked about Kyle's all through the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, you see the way I've been shooting lately? Yeah, I mean, obviously it helped, man. No, but I mean, sometimes it hurts. Like you sprain your thumb, you jam your thumb, you go check into the game and get smacked the first play you're in, or you fall or something stupid like that. So, it was off and on for a while. My wrist through Orlando, I think I jammed my wrist in the Orlando series, and it was my shooting hand. So, I blame that for the bad shooting. But it happens. I've learned to play through it, and so even trying to think back, I don't really remember games where it was, bothering me too much. I try not to make too many excuses about the stuff like that, because when I play good and I'm hurt, it doesn't matter. So when I play bad and I'm hurt, same thing.
Fred, what does it feel like to be back on Canadian soil and home to the champions? Last night getting off the plane and all these fans are there, and maybe seeing some of the videos of the celebrations here, millions of people on the street.
Yeah, it's just good to be back. It's just great to be back. This has become my second home for me and my family, obviously. So just to be back here, and I know we went and did our thing and have fun and everything, but just good to be back, and looking forward to the parade and just enjoying it with the fans. Luckily the streets calmed down a little bit since we won, so we didn't have to go through that. But just looking forward to enjoying this moment with the city and with the people here who've been, itching for this for so long to finally be able to deliver. Is pretty special.
Can you describe the last 48 hours, what it feels like, how it sinks in, and everything that kind of comes out of that?
Yeah, it's a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind for sure. It's been one long day since the last buzzer went off. First couple of days, I don't know how much sleep I got, but just to be back home for Father's Day, with the babies and everything, it's been good. So, God did his thing with that one. We won the championship, and it rolled right into Father's Day weekend. So I'm on a pretty big high right now, and can't do no wrong. Get my feet rubbed, stuff like that. So I'm feeling pretty good. But it's hard to put into words, like just the grind of what it takes to get to that point and to make the playoffs and then be good in the playoffs. And playoffs was about 2 months, so that's a whole nother animal in itself. To cap it off and to reach the ultimate goal is it's hard to put that into words.
What comes back to you at that moment? Like, because your whole life has led up to that right there.
Yeah, like I said, you just try to enjoy it. You just try to enjoy the moment. It's weird because we always need something to chase and we need something to aspire to be better. And so it's hard to be content. It's hard to like, I kind of looking around like, all right, well, like, what do we do now? Like, what's next? And, for the most part, just party and enjoy it and have a couple of drinks and enjoy it for a little bit. And then at some point, we'll get back to work and try to do it again. But it's really just a weird feeling for a guy like me who's just always trying to look ahead and look far and beyond what other people expect and what I expect of myself, just reaching, so high and trying to achieve so much, to just kind of enjoy it for as much as I can. And that's what your family and friends are for, to kind of bring you back down to earth.
About achieving so much in that last game, I mean, you were the one closing it out. You scored more than anyone else in the fourth. Did it feel surreal at all in that fourth quarter?
No, it didn't, and it felt good. Obviously, I was rolling a little bit in a good zone, and just it happens like that sometimes. So I think the biggest thing for me is like I'm super excited and happy and proud of myself, of my teammates, and this team for what we've done. But it's just like a weird feeling because I'm not as astonished or like amazed that, because we kind of like expected to do this, and I know they were shorthanded and everything, but I expect myself to have big games. I expect myself to do that, and I kind of hold myself to that standard. And when I don't play that well, I'm upset. And when I do, it's like, okay, good job, and we'll try to play even better next time. So I guess just the amazement for me is not the same as it is for everybody else.
Fred, what happened in Vegas?
I think we know how that saying goes, so I'll just leave that there. I'm definitely not the guy to give you guys a play-by-play, but we enjoyed ourselves for sure.
Fred, no family goes through a whole year without its ups and downs. How well or how good was this team at handling those moments of, when there's an inner conflict or whatever, and you get past it?
Yeah, we're pretty good. I think the biggest thing is that it doesn't get outside. This has been a stressful year, I'll tell you that much. Like each guys went through their own deal, ups, downs. We got a lot of talent, and we've seen other teams this year. I'm not gonna say no names, but we've seen other teams go through things and they couldn't, manage through it. And like, I think some of that's on your leadership and some of that's on your, the coaches, and then on, ultimately it boils down to individual. So I'm sure at some point Norman Powell felt like he should be playing more or whatever the case may be, and maybe he should, but does that implode your team to the point to where when he does get ready to go out there and perform, he's so out of it that because of something that happened, like myself, do I feel like I should be playing more, or in the Philly series, whatever the case may be, like do I get resentful and point fingers, and that can blow a team up really fast. And so I think that we just got a lot of good guys and great character and guys who are able to weather the storm. And not, I had bad days myself. I know some other guys did too, but you keep it in house, you talk it out, you work it out, and just understand that we're all, striving towards one goal. And so we had our fair share of problems this year. It wasn't a fairy tale ride by any stretch, but you get to hold that trophy up, it makes it all worth it.
What's a characteristic that allows you guys to get through those moments where, like you said, a lot of it?
Yeah, I think just probably some maturity. Most of us are a little older, and just the chemistry and being able to talk it out. Like even if you have an issue with somebody or something, being able to talk to, if not the direct person you have an issue with or direct thing you have an issue about, talk to your friend, air it out and see what happens. And I think just, understanding nothing, we all come from like real life situations and real things. So at the end of the day, this is our job, and everybody has problems at their job and gossip, and you hate your boss sometimes and whatever the case is. But, if you really love what you do and you love the people you work with, the rest of that stuff it comes and goes.
Fred, have you spoken to Kawhi about his future? Do you plan to? And what would you do if he's not the Toronto Raptors?
I think we joke. I mean, I don't leave anything in the air, so I joke with Kawhi about that from the first couple of times I talked to him. So I didn't have an in-depth conversation with him because it's not really none of my business. And I think that not just him, from him down to whoever you think the last man on the roster is, we don't get in each other's business when it comes to that. So we talk lightly. and I don't plan on talking to him about it. I think that for us, at least speaking for myself, there's nothing more that we can do. I mean, we've done it. The city's done it. This franchise done it. The coaches have done it. The teammates have done it. We've done our job, you know. And the best way to recruit somebody and you know, is to just be yourself over the course of the year. And I would assume that he knows what is here and what makes this place special. And if it's enough, it'll be enough. And if it's not, then it's not. So we would all love him. And we would all, you know, love for him to be back. And if he's not, then we'll move on from there. So, you know, it's not the biggest deal in the world. He came here and did what he was supposed to do. So he brought this city a championship, and you know, I think he's earned his freedom in his career to do what he wants to do, and we'll all respect and you know, admire him. And if he's on another team, then we'll just have to kick his ass next year. But hopefully he'll be back.
But given your personal journey, I mean, you know, to the NBA and now playing the championship at the level that you did, also to get that nod for the MVP, both, how has that sunk in, or how does that make you feel?
That's just me buttering up Hubie over the last few weeks. You know, every time I see him, I'll give him a nice hug, and we talk and chop it up. So that's all that was. But no, I think just some of it's vindicating. You know, you feel some sense of pride in knowing that you were right all along, or knowing that you were right for believing in yourself, and so that feels good. And then, you know, to win feels good. But again, when I have 0 points and I tell you it's about the team and it's not about my personal numbers, I really mean that. And so when I have 22 points, it's the same thing. Does it feel a lot better? Yeah, it does. But it's not really about that at the end of the day. It's about winning a championship, and we were able to do that as a unit. And that is something, when you give yourself up for the greater good of the team and give yourself up for something greater than yourself, you know, the reward is so much better than putting all the stock on your personal accomplishments. So to answer your question, it feels great to have played well, you know, in the biggest game of my life, the biggest games of my life. And, you know, I'll try to build on that going forward. But overall, just happy to be an NBA champion.
Does it bother you at all that people don't seem to maybe be giving the team its due, like they're talking about who the Warriors didn't have, or Anthony Davis trade now? It's kind of like.
I haven't seen it. You know, honestly, I haven't. I try not to watch a lot of this, especially like the daily shows. Like you got to come on every day and like find something to talk about. So, I mean, I try not to watch that stuff. Like, half of that stuff is bullshit. We know that. So, guys disagreeing with each other for the sake of TV, contracts, whatever, you know, that whole thing. But again, those guys were undermanned. It's not a secret. While we felt for them and we feel for the individual, like we didn't feel sorry for them, you know, like it sucks. It really does. And it's unfortunate. You never want to see guys get hurt, but it happens every year. It happens every year. It's happened in history before us, and it'll probably happen again, you know, unfortunately. So that's just the way it goes. And we feel like they were tough anyway, so we don't feel like we got it easy by any stretch. We still had to work for it without them having Kevin, and then Clay went down in Game 6 too. So we had our fair share of injuries, nothing that serious, you know, thank God. But that doesn't take anything away from me, and I don't really care what people say.
You got a feeling for who's going to be the most enthusiastic on stage tomorrow?
The only thing is that the parade was so far away from when we actually won, so yeah, you might see some fatigue tomorrow from a few guys. I'm trying to think of who would be the most energetic. I don't know. That's a good one. Who's going
to be the most?
Pascal, yeah. Most fatigue? That's going to be a long list, brother. I would say Pascal or Norm will probably live up to the crowd a little bit tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. It won't be me, I'll tell you that much.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Oh.
my glasses.
Need to see them?
Huh?
Do you need to see them?
Nah. I mean, probably.
Put it in your watch.
No, that's fine. Okay.
All right, questions for Pascal, please?
Sorry?
Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it did. I mean, it's kind of hard right now. This past couple of days has been crazy, but yeah, I don't think I have that time to like sit down and like really think about it, you know. Like, but I mean, it feels right though.
Pascal, what was it like to land back in Canadian soil to these throngs of fans at the airport cheering?
Right. Yeah, it felt great. I mean, I just can't imagine what tomorrow's gonna be like, you know. But that you know, just seeing those guys out there at the airport waiting for us was definitely incredible. Yeah, it was fun.
Pascal, do you think about yourself differently than you did this time last year? Not only because of the season you had, but the performance.
Like, what do you mean, like differently? Like,
I mean, do you think that your potential is higher? Do you think did maybe the experience kind of confirm anything about you?
I mean, like to be honest with you, like I always, you know, like I always felt like I deserve to be at this level, and that's something that I worked for, and obviously I know that there's more to come, and that is only the beginning for me, and I'm just continue to rise and continue to learn. I think the biggest thing for me is just that knowing that this season was such a learning experience, just because you know, you put the work in, you come in, and beginning of the season, it was good, but then, you know, hit a point where you get to another level, and you get hit again, and, you know, it's not, you're not that great anymore, and then, you know, you learn and you get better. So it's like so many things during the season, like, that happen, and from ups and downs, and it just made me stronger, and kind of like understanding, I think understanding what it takes to be at this level, and how much more work I have to put in, you know. So yeah, it definitely gave me, you know, there's a lot of things to think about, and just in terms of who I want to be as a player, and how I can, you know, how better I can get.
When teams are building teams, they often try and get guys who have championship experience. Now that you've won a championship, do you see why it's valuable? Like, did you take something out of winning that you think is going to stay with you professionally?
For sure. I think, you know, like obviously winning is great, you know, like it feels amazing. But I think the journey, I think we've been through so much that I'm sure that whatever I've learned right now is gonna stay with me for the rest of my life, you know. Like the adversity, like how hard it is, and sometimes just feeling like you're the best in the world, and then feeling like you're the worst, you know, the next day, is crazy, and it's definitely something that it will stay with me for the rest of my life.
What do you learn about how hard it is, and about the emotion that is necessary both up and down all the way along the journey?
Right. I think I've learned. I mean, if it's one thing that I've learned from Kawhi, you know, it's just like how he's always the same, and that's something that I would want to, you know, have as a player, because I think it's important, you know, with everything happening, you know, the media and TV, whatever, social media, whatever is going on, like there's always people talking, and there's always things going on, but, you know, I think just being able to control that and be the same person, like no matter what, and obviously knowing that whatever you have to do or you have to get better, whatever the case might be, but at the same time, just your emotions, like being kind of even killed, and understanding that there's gonna be bad days and there's gonna be good days, but if you go out there every single day and give everything you have and put everything that you have into the game, like, you know, it's gonna pay off.
For so long, the motivation for this franchise has been making the next step, getting to the finals, and then obviously once you got there, it was winning. The answer will be different for every individual, but what do you see the motivation as for yourself to
I mean, for me, I think the motivation is like, look what you did in 3 years. Like, what can you do in 10, you know? Like, it's about continuing to build and understanding that, like, you put the work in and you got to this point, like, but it's like, it's only been 3 years. Like, what can you do in more than that? So that's my motivation, you know, seeing how great I can be. That's the next step now, like working on how great I can be.
Is that another kind of, you've never played with a player as good as Kawhi all year. Beyond just his mentality, what did you learn about how to get to that place?
What did I learn? Say it one more time, sorry. I was distracted. Somebody.
Just playing with him, like.
Whose phone is this? Retweeted by Alex. Pascal Siakam asks if he thinks differently of himself as a player after his breakout season. That was fast. Who's writing that right now? That's funny.
You played against great players, never played with a guy as good as Kawhi. What did, not just his mentality, but what did you learn from him about where you want to get to and how to get there?
I mean, he has everything in this game. Like, that's something that, you know, he can do everything. He can score on the post. He can shoot threes. He can mid range. And then he can guard anybody. So, like, that's like the perfect kind of player. Like, you know, if you want to be somebody, I mean, it's looking at me, being able to defend and also, you know, for me being to that level where I can just do whatever I want out there on the floor, like the way he's doing it and the fashion he's doing it is incredible.
Pascal, talk about Kawhi and what you learned from him. Have you spoken to him at all about his future? Do you plan to? And what would the feeling be like for you if he's not a Toronto Raptor this year?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. Like, I didn't have much time to think these past 2 days, but. I haven't talked to him or nothing. Like, nobody really. I don't know like what he's gonna do and stuff. But obviously, like, having him has been like a great experience for me. Just learning from him and we definitely, you know, want him back. But at the same time, we understand that, you know, and me as a player, all I can do is just, you know, kind of like support him and whatever he wants to do. Obviously, and you know, hopefully he can come back and you know, but I'm gonna let, you know, Kawhi do what Kawhi does.
Not that you're going to recruit him, but if you were, like, what would you say in terms of selling this situation to him?
I mean, except from, you know, all the free restaurants he can go to. The Kawhi and dine and I even heard that he got a house. Somebody gave him a house or something. I mean, where's my house at? But no, I mean, just the experience that we had. I mean, winning the championship. I think once you win the championship, I think the next thing is like you want to do it again. You know, and I think. Having him, you know, that's for us, and having young guys like me, Fred, continue to develop, you know, Norm and everyone, and being so young and having to go through all this, and it's just, I think it's a great fit for him, you know, being here, and hopefully he can come back, but, you know, I don't know how to, I'm not a salesman or nothing, but I think it is. I want him to come back, and I'm sure, you know, he's gonna think about it, and whatever happens, happens.
Pascal, for the entire team, it's always been about the next game. This is kind of the part where you get to slow down, hopefully take it all in. Has that been strange to kind of finally slow down?
Yeah, I mean, not strange, but I think it was just at the end of the day, I wanted to win, but I kind of wanted the season to end already. You know, like it's been a long season, and like I'm just I don't know what to tell you. I'm just sitting here. I don't know what's going on. I'm so excited, but it's great just to sit down and kind of enjoy everything you worked for. You know, it's an amazing feeling.
Pascal, how's the reaction been
my friend. I was like, this is great. Well, where's Van Vliet doing the interview at?
He was on before you. This is a rookie mistake, by the way. I should have flipped it over. This is my fault.
Oh, I'm like, what the hell? What did Fred say? There's nothing more we can do, huh?
He was good.
Oh, he was good? Oh, man. He was better than me? He was better than me?
He was longer.
Come on, more questions. Go ahead.
Pascal, how's the reaction been back home in Cameroon? Like
Yeah, it's been crazy. I think my family never had that many calls. My brother did more interviews than I did, just talking about everything. But it's been great. It's been great. I saw like they made like a little video, and I think just seeing people from back home and some of the moms in the neighborhood that I grew up around and just talking about me and. I think for me, like I just didn't know like how it reached people, and to see that the impact and how excited people are getting about the whole thing. I don't think I kind of understood the magnitude of what we did in terms of like I didn't know how many people followed me in Cameroon, but just seeing the support it's been incredible.
Will you get back there this summer?
I'm planning on that, but we don't know yet for sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you. Y'all fast. How the hell y'all take that?
Or something incriminating.
All right.
Mark, a few weeks after your arriving in Toronto,
Yeah.
you told us normally going to a new team, you will be one or two leaders in the team, and you were kind of surprised that the good atmosphere and everybody have an option to talk in the dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
That was an impact on you and championship after that?
I think everyone had the same mindset from the get-go. Everybody understood the change that we had, and everybody invested in it. And that I think that was the key, especially when we hit the tough times, or the times that things were not working out as well we wanted. That open mindset and that positive attitude towards solving the problems. I thought that that only comes from being unselfish as a team, as a man, and willing to fix whatever issues were going on the court.
So your experience in here, you came to a great point.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, yeah, everything. What else can you ask for? You leave a situation that you've been in for 10.5 years that kind of made you who you are, and you pretty much a made man there, and you get a chance to make a run at the championship, and I don't know how long it was, 26 regular season games and plus the playoffs. After that, you're an NBA champion, and being able to contribute to that, it means the world to me.
Mark, of these last couple of days, have they been what you would expect? I mean, I'm sure you've thought about what a championship would feel like, and after.
Yeah, well,
has it kind of come to fruition? Like, does it feel like what you thought it would be?
Yeah. With a lot more beer than expected. But I was able to handle it pretty well on my body. At least it feels like it. But no, yeah, seriously, it's been amazing. It's been amazing, and and the highs, the lows. It's been so mentally and physically draining that it still hasn't hit you. You still. It still feels like you're deep in the rabbit hole of games and coverages and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to take a minute and perspective and a couple steps back and being alone somewhere and kind of like just being able to reflect on everything. Right now we're still enjoying it, and it's time to still celebrate. Maybe slow down on the beer a little bit. But it's still, time to celebrate because what we accomplished as a franchise, as a city, as a team, and as obviously as in every case, every man, every player, it's pretty impressive and remarkable.
Can you describe what it did feel like and how that feeling evolved over the last 4 years?
It was a mix. It's like it was a mix of emotions. Exciting, obviously, thrilling, but at the same time was like you almost were mad at it in a way. Like it's finally over, and you came up on top of it. As a competitive guy, that's all you wish for is to keep competing, and now it's like it's over. It's not no one to compete against, and you're kind of mad at it. But it feels a lot better when you're on the winning side. Obviously, I didn't want to imagine or think about what it would feel like to be on the other side.
That was something that Fred also sort of said. It's like, where's the next challenge? What do I do now? Kind of type thing. I mean, you're still obviously fresh in it.
It's true.
Have you thought about the next year and 2 years and like where you do find that motivation?
In a month, we start training camp with the national team next month, and it's going to be the first time that we are without the so-called older guys. Pau, Navarro, Calderon. All those guys are now with the national team. So, us, the younger generation, are taking over, and that's for me. Obviously, is a big challenge and a motivating one. And I think you always find challenges, and who's the best guy you can compete with is yourself, and always trying to find ways to improve. One thing I always believed in the playoffs, it shows you in many ways the things that you need to improve if you want to continue to improve. And to me, I saw a few things that I need to improve on, and I want to work on them.
Mark, how soon after the game did you speak with Pau, and what was that first conversation?
He was back in Spain, so I think once I got to the room after midnight, FaceTimed him. He was, having coffee, so he was wide awake, and yeah, he was very happy, obviously.
Mark, how does this championship compare to some of your previous success with the Spanish national team, the World Cup, Olympic medals, or even Spain?
It's hard to compare different competitions. Here you go such a long time. Obviously, I cannot say the whole season, but when you think about the first round of the playoffs only, it feels like a year ago. If I think of the game my first game in New York, it feels like ages ago. And if I feel about training camp with the Grizzlies, it just doesn't seem happen, this season. So just so draining and beating a team 4 times each round, it's really hard. And only the best team wins it. The best team standing is the one that's going to win it all. It doesn't happen by chance, and doesn't happen. You have a bad day, but if you're the best team, you're going to win 4 games. So with the national team, you play. It's elimination game, so obviously there's a lot more pressure on one game. And here you gotta be on it every game, every series, if you want to win it all, because you have to be the best game for a lot of games.
Does it feel like the stage was bigger, the expectations were higher?
Well, definitely the attention. I don't know about the attention was a lot bigger because here you understand how much attention the NBA gets and what platform we are at. But playing an Olympic final I consider pretty big as well, and playing in a World Cup final I considered also huge. And at the end of the day, that's what you wish as a player, is playing at that level, and a competitor is see where you at, and hopefully win.
Mark, you mentioned when it's over you felt mad. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I'm not mad, angry. It was a mix of emotions. Put it in a blender. It's extremely happy, but also angry. I don't know. It's just a lot of emotions.
Sort of like a fighter at the end of the fight, you're still kind of amped up and.
Yeah, and okay, what now? It's weird. It's weird. You're completely wired, and I don't know. It just takes. I guess it takes a minute. It takes a minute because you've been, like I said, now you're really deep in the rabbit hole, and to find your way out of there, it's going to take a couple days.
Is it a little bit different than some of those other competitions
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit different because of that, but also over there we in a different country for 3 or 4 weeks, sharing a room with a teammate, having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the team. Like it's also, I enjoy both options. I don't, I enjoy both tremendously. And whenever you have a chance to do it, the European way or the FIBA way competition, it's awesome, and this is pretty awesome too.
But either way, you're just immersed, right? Like you're just so.
Yeah. So you saw locked into everything that The only time that you get a little taste of the outside world is when we speak to you guys. At least for me, if I don't speak to you guys, I don't get any information or I don't hear the talks. Because it's just not important. Not as-
Not to keep searching for metaphors on the bad thing, but is it kind of like you go up a really long hill and then you look back at the hill and you're like, oh, I hate how hard it was, kind of thing?
No. That part I think it's I don't know. I think it's just an emotional moment, and you just kind of letting go, and that's what it's like. I don't know. I can't explain it. But I can put it in words. Maybe the word is not angry or mad, but it's it's definitely it's just something that it's inside of you that you held on for so long, and you finally got one. And I didn't know how much winning a ring would mean to me until I was getting it, or that to me was something that before. I was like, okay, you win a ring, great. If you don't, it's about the process, about, everything else. But now that you have one, you're like, okay, you understand how hard it is to get it. And I gained so much more respect for all the guys that have been there, and for the team that we just played. I thought that team, their resilience and their heart was unreal. I was, right after the game, that was the first thing I thought, like, that team has a lot of heart, and they showed.
What do you like most about your team in the end, in the final analysis?
What I said at the beginning of the, of the session, how we approached the tough times, how we approached after game 1 against Orlando, how we approached after game 2 against Milwaukee, after, I think, game, what was it, 4?
Game 3 against Philly.
How we approach that, how we approach every challenge we faced. I wouldn't even say tough times. When we were challenged, I just liked the way we reacted as a team, not as players, but as a team. Coaches, everyone, trainers, the whole everybody that's in there involved around the team. It was really good to see and able to enjoy it.
Mark, I know you don't like to look ahead too much, but obviously you have a player option.
Yeah.
You thought about it, you made a decision.
Not at all. Haven't really looked into it much. I'm sure that the franchise has, other priorities to go first, and I'm sure that once that is, decided, we'll see what the rest is, or what they want to do, or how it goes. But like I said, now it's time to celebrate and enjoy this moment.
Mark, what does it mean to you to be able to share this win, this moment with all of Toronto tomorrow, with all of its fans?
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be crazy. We just can't wait. We can't wait to see them, because you felt it. After the Milwaukee series, you say, okay, we win it all. It's going to be crazy, and we did it. We won it, and I thought that they were a huge part of it. They were always supporting us, no matter what, and you could feel that energy, and how they would make you go again and one more time, and you're down in the game, but they supporting you, and so you feel that.
Did you get a chance to see how people were celebrating in Toronto?
I've seen a couple clips, yeah.
Your comments on that, just how...
Just be safe. Just be safe. Have a lot of fun, and please be safe. That's all.
Mark, you mentioned how your team responded to each of those kind of landmarks over the playoffs. Was there something common about in each case, or was each challenge a little different, and you handled them in a different way, or was there a
the best gift that I ever had as a basketball player was a mirror. So, I think that everyone, those moments, instead of pointing fingers or blaming someone else, they look at their own mirror and like, okay, what can I do better? And there were no excuses. We're not blaming. There was a lot of owning, and we went from there. And once you do that part, it's pretty easy.
Mark, after being locked in on one goal every day for the past
Yeah.
plus months, what have the past couple mornings been like? Like when you wake up, do you know it's over, or does it take a minute to be like, oh yeah, I don't have to be focused on this game plan?
Yeah, well, today was the first time, obviously, waking up in Toronto. Waking up in Vegas was a little rough. But, today I wake up a lot better. And just, just being able to kind of open up, the angle vision and enjoying your family in a different way and being able to really be with them and not just be with them, but your mind is somewhere else. You can actually now enjoy and kind of soak it in and don't worry about, I have to go to practice or I have to, watch film. I got to watch, or even when you're not watching film or not, you don't have to go to practice. Your brain is just still locked in and wired into the games, and you just don't enjoy the company as much. You try to be there, but you're not really there. So doing that, I think that's going to help me and hopefully some sunshine.
Mark, you basically won nearly everything in basketball. So what keeps you motivated to keep going? Like, what could be the next goal?
I think you find motivation within yourself. Like it's, just the chance of do what we do for a living. We're very fortunate, and that should motivate you enough. Not many people have a chance to do what we do. So that alone makes you feel so special, and and how many people support you, and you represent so many people that I think that's a lot of fuel for you to keep going. And you understand that you could say you're in the fourth quarter of your career now, so fourth quarter is time to go and start to play and give it all you have. So it's time to enjoy it.
Is this your daughter? What was it like to share this moment with your family?
Yes, it's Julia, my daughter. And it's great. She was happy. You got a silver, right? A silver one, and now we have a gold one. And that's she was happy that we had one of each. We had the Eastern Conference one, and now the final one. So yeah, she was happy. She liked both.
Mark, would Kawhi's decision affect your decision, do you think, coming back here after having had a chance to chase a championship with him and in this?
I think Kawhi impacts, the team and the franchise in so many different ways that I'm sure he'll have something to do with it because I don't think there's many players of let me say that again. I don't think there's any other player of his caliber right now in the NBA. He's I think, on a pedestal by himself. Age-wise, his game, his leadership, the way he carries himself. I haven't been around all of them, but being around him, I'll tell you, he's, one of a kind.
What about him did you learn over these last 2 months? Maybe there's some stuff you did know, there's some stuff you didn't.
He's a good leader. He's a very good leader, and he speaks when it's needed. He's very direct, and he plays. He doesn't give you excuses. He doesn't, look for ways out. He just keeps playing, keeps pushing. Very positive. Heck of a player.
Can we do questions in Spanish now, please?
Sure. Hola. Gracias.
Supongo que las últimas 48 horas han sido una montaña rusa, has pensado mucho en todo lo que has necesitado hacer, los sacrificios, las personas que te han ayudado a llegar aquí. Supongo también que estás pensando un poco en el futuro, en los objetivos que te quieres plantear, tienes el anillo. ¿Puedes explicar un poco cómo te ves en el futuro?
No, las últimas 48 horas han sido de disfrute máximo, de disfrutar y también convivir con los compañeros de otra manera, de una forma mucho más relajada, de un ambiente mucho más festivo, que obviamente los últimos 2 meses que han sido de mucha concentración, entonces ahora mismo pues mucho más fácil, ¿no? Te ríes de muchas situaciones que has vivido conjuntamente, pues te ríes porque visto algo en perspectiva pues hacen gracia, pero bueno, ahora te digo, es un momento para disfrutar, realmente no estamos haciendo análisis más que el de disfrutar de un anillo que es muy, muy difícil de conseguir.
Antes del quinto partido hablaba con Scariolo sobre lo que supondría ganar anillo y mundial en el mismo año. Él dijo que tocaba madera y ya está. ¿Qué supondría para ti?
Es que, a ver, para mí... No, o sea, una cosa no suma más a la otra. Son dos cosas para mí muy, muy independientes. Yo le doy mucho valor a todas las cosas que pasan por el momento en el que pasan y ya está. Para mí no son...
Un año en el que has sufrido también el cambio de salir de Memphis, ¿no?
Sí, pero me queda tan lejos eso ya. Yo no soy una persona que se quede en el pasado y que es una cosa que era un riesgo que había que correr, que la franquicia apostó por el cambio también y que les agradezco mucho y que puede haber salido mal. Pero gracias a Dios ha salido muy bien. Creo que todas las partes han puesto de sus partes y muy feliz, la verdad, porque al final, ya te digo, no creía que me importara tanto el ganar un anillo.
O sea, muy feliz por lo que estás pasando en este momento.
Sí, muy feliz, disfrutando mucho. Digo, han sido 48, 72 horas muy intensas, pero que después pues, de una larga batalla y de pasar unos meses pues muy metido de cabeza en el objetivo, pues ahora pues bajando también la guardia un poco y disfrutando.
¿Habéis hablado tú y Pau del hecho de que habéis pasado la historia los dos hermanos?
No, es que yo y Pau realmente no hablamos pues de sus sobrinos, hablamos de los planes de vacaciones, hablamos de su boda, pero de baloncesto realmente con Pau os sorprendería lo poco que hablamos. Algún detalle,
Esto es historia, por baloncesto.
Sí, pero cuando estás tan metido no te das cuenta, quizá, ¿no? Obviamente cuando miras, pues sí, somos los primeros hermanos que ganamos un anillo, también fuimos los primeros hermanos que saltamos o empezamos en un partido del All-Star, me imagino. Tenemos mucha suerte, nos sentimos muy afortunados de estar en la situación que estamos, pero entendemos también que la vida va mucho más allá, que hay cosas para nosotros pues, que son muy importantes y tenemos, ya te digo, la suerte de hacer lo que hacemos y de estar muy unidos.
Una parada en Barcelona.
En Barcelona, pues no sé cuánto voy a pisar Barcelona. Este verano pues parece bastante ajetreado, no parece que tenga muchos días para estar en casa. Pero bueno, como decía antes, es el cuarto y ahora mismo no hay cansancio.
No, si te abre una nueva perspectiva este anillo para tu carrera, es un tren del que no te vas a querer bajar.
Sí, es que es un poco adictivo, ¿no? Esta sensación, porque es una sensación muy especial. Y aparte como competidor, el jugar a este nivel, te das cuenta de que cualquier otro nivel que no sea este, pues es difícil, ¿no? Entonces, ya creía muchas de las cosas que hemos vivido, ¿no? Y cómo las hemos llevado. He tenido la suerte de que la gente que me ha rodeado durante toda mi vida, como entrenadores que he tenido de joven, compañeros de juego, ya hacía muchas cosas así y esto pues un poco me ha confirmado muchas cosas de las que yo pensaba, ¿no? Y un poco pues eso lo agradezco, ¿no? El que los entrenadores le dieran tanta importancia a cosas cuando yo era más joven y que ahora a este nivel te des cuenta que es lo que muchas veces diferencia la victoria de la derrota en la final de la NBA, aparte de que hay que tener mucho talento, pero pequeños detalles que como equipo son importantes, pues de alguna manera te hace sonreír.
Han sido 24 partidos, es casi una liga, ¿no? Y en eso habéis tenido, es evidente, lo vemos todos, que habéis ganado, pero ha habido momentos muy duros. ¿El equipo ha habido algún momento que se haya sentido, por decirlo, miserable?
No, muy duros. Como equipo, yo creo que no ha habido momentos muy duros por la manera de afrontarlos. Ha habido momentos, me imagino que tanto personales para mí como que otros jugadores habrán vivido, que a la manera de afrontarlos, pues bueno, pues las primeras horas son duras. Después de cuando un partido no te sale bien y el equipo pues se resiente y pierde, pues obviamente hacemos mucha autocrítica como jugadores. Y bueno, pues eso, con las ganas y la mentalidad de hacerlo mejor, pero las primeras horas siempre son muy difíciles, lo pasas mal. Y bueno, o sea, no te queda otra que levantarte y de cara al próximo partido mejorar.
¿Esa es la clave?
Sí, es aceptar el error, aceptar un poco que las cosas no siempre salen bien. Y es un poco que la perfección es algo que no existe. Entonces es como minimizar esos errores, el intentar lidiar con ellos lo antes posible y intentar pues digerirlos. No es fácil, y conforme antes te levantes, mejor.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Sorry?
Puedo escribir acá que está diario. Chica rasga love letter now. Puedo escribir. Te lo di una bonito. No sé,
Wrong, but I feel pretty good though. Not much until I guess the past day or so. I slept pretty good. I would say this morning anyway, because we're still in the West Coast time zone. Didn't get much to sleep much last night. Went to sleep like early this morning and then slept in this afternoon. But we've been going. We stayed in the Bay after the game, and then the families flew home. Some of us, the team anyway, we went to Vegas. Stays there. I don't know if you heard that before or not, but Vegas was a good time. And then, there was a group that went to LA after, and a group that came back home. I was one of the guys that wasn't built for that continuance of partying LA scene, so I decided to bring myself home to get a day or so. But I heard LA was nice, Vegas was nice too, but it was good, team, fun, enjoy each other before everybody breaks out and disperses after the parade. I'm sure guys are flying as soon as it's over. Some guys are getting out of town, but to get a couple of days with each other to enjoy it, I thought it was important and a good time.
You've won a title before.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys who come in here haven't. They almost still can't quite process it. How long maybe does it take to kind of accept that you're a champion and that it's over and you can enjoy it?
I think the first one anyway. I'd say my first one is if I won a bunch of them. Just the first one that I won, it took me a while. Probably sunk in a little more when I got the ring the next season, and then sunk in more each year of how hard it was to get back there. So I definitely appreciated it more this time around because I know how hard it was. I was pretty spoiled in San Antonio. I was. We went to a bunch of Western Conference finals. We won a lot. Got to the finals back-to-back years. And I just thought, it's part of the life. It's part of a lot of guys never make it there. And I kind of understood that more as these last 5 years have passed, how hard it was to get there and also get it done. Just being and having a lot of luck on our side, being healthy, the healthiest team at the right time. So, yeah, this was and it probably won't sink in for them. I said until they get the ring, and then probably some years later, especially for the young guys, Pat McCaw, he's got 3 of them. I don't know when it's gonna sink in for him. But if anybody's looking for a good luck charm, it's the guy to sign, I would say.
Danny, following up on that question, you were part of that Spurs team that knocked off a 2-time defending champion,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're part of a Raptors team that knocked off a 2-time defending champion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somewhat similar, but what does the weight of that history feel like to you, and can you compare and contrast the experiences at all?
I try not to. I don't like to. It's just different times, different eras, different teams. Obviously, 2 very good, ball clubs, organizations, but just different, times, different generations. Obviously, younger LeBron, younger D Wade, and Golden State. They were banged up. They didn't have a full strength, but they're still a very good, team, regardless of who's on that floor for them. They make you earn it, and we had to fight and scratch for every, win every possession that we got. Even with Clay and KD out, but you never like to see, or you never want to see, guys like that get hurt or be out. You want to play them at their full strength, and I think it'd be interesting and more fun to see
if possible, we can match up with them at their full strength at some point. And you never know, it might happen again in the future, hopefully.
Your future, obviously, you're a free agent. You spent much time to
Mm-hmm.
be back here.
Mm-hmm.
How much does Kawhi's situation impact that, and what would you say to him about his free agency? Obviously, you've been his teammate for a long time.
There's not much for me to say to him. He's a grown man with kids. I don't have any kids yet, but we're both grown, make our own decisions for what's best for him and his family. He's going to consult with his family, his agency, and whoever else he keeps close to him, and make a decision just like I'm going to do the same. But I think his decision impacts, not be foolish here, it impacts a lot of guys' decisions, because he can change a whole organization, he can change a whole team, he can change a lot of guys' careers or make a lot of guys' careers easier. So that decision weighs on, I think, a lot of other guys' free agency decision. But for me, some weight on it, his decision, but mine is just, figuring out what's the next chapter for me, the best position for me. And this one was a fun one, and I liked it here, and I would definitely say I'd love to come back and be here. But you don't know what's in store. Got a couple weeks before free agency. Luckily, said we took it all the way down the stretch as far as we could to where we don't have to wait too long for free agency. So that makes it easier, but enjoy the parade tomorrow. Sit down, talk with my family, my agent, and figure out, the best decisions or situations, and then wait till free agency hits and, see who's interested, see what's going on and who wants to bring me where or bring me back, and then, figure it out from that standpoint, and then we weigh the options.
Having won the championship or championships before, how different is it when you go into the summer and you're looking for your motivation? Like, getting back to that place or winning a ring is the biggest motivation. So when you don't have that, what do you look for?
I think you're still looking for that. Even though we're such, for me anyway, I think I've been lucky. This is my second one, so knowing how rare it is and this feeling of being on a high, you kind of crave that again, and you don't want to lose that high. So the motivation for me is to continue to find that again, wherever it may be. Obviously, the best situation for me to be able to play and compete on the highest level, but in a situation where I can continue to win, be successful, and have an opportunity to be in this place again, be in this position again. But I think everybody else, the motivation is to continue to compete at the highest level, continue to win games, and some guys, just provide for their families. They want to continue to, have the best job in the world, doing what they love to do, playing basketball and earning a contract. So I think, a lot of guys going, I want to earn another contract, I want to win. I think all those things come into play. But for me, obviously, I would love to continue to keep playing basketball in the NBA. That's my motivation, to try to continue to keep a roster spot, fool a couple teams to keep me around for a little bit longer, but also to win some games and stay on this high and hopefully never come down.
I didn't get a chance to ask you this during the celebration.
Uh-huh.
What was it like watching the last 11 seconds giving away, the previous possession?
Oh man, it was I was probably most stressed than anybody in the world there. I was on suicide watch. Probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, it was stressful for me. And even Kalo after the game was like, "Are you all right? You here? Are you with us? Or what's going on? Let it go. Flush it." I was happy. I was enjoying myself, but I really did thought I cost us the game in that the final possession on offense. But said Mark was great. Jalen was great with keeping me positive. Like, we're gonna get this stop, man. Don't worry about it. There's not much you can do in that situation. You were caught in a corner. He's a pretty good defender. You did what you could. You gave him an outlet at least. You gave me all the positives. It made me feel good about myself. When I know I screwed it up, it was rough. But hopefully in a couple months, nobody will ever remember that play, forget about it forever. And, hopefully they can take it off the little ticker, whatever, how do you do the little ESPN, that's talking, the play-by-play? Yeah, try to delete that from the play-by-play if we can. Anybody got any pull on that? No.
The play when play went down,
Mm-hmm.
just maybe walk through that because it got lost.
Yeah, well, I know I wasn't. I tried my best to. I haven't reached out to him personally, but I did through other various routes. Obviously, I knew I wasn't really impacting the game as much offensively as I would like to. I hadn't gotten an attempt up at that point. Even the rest of the game, I didn't. But defensively, I was trying to be as active as I possibly could and getting rebounds, getting steals, deflections, and limiting those guys as much as possible, and not letting their crowd get into it. Try to keep the crowd out of it on the road. And he was going up for a dunk, and I know he could jump, and I thought he was gonna go up with one hand, and I didn't think he had a step on. I think we were kind of side by side. We had a pretty good. If he had a step on me, I'd probably be like, all right, I'm probably not gonna get this, but I thought I was ahead of him to where I can get to the ball, and he went up with two hands, and I was like, all right, well, I think it's a little easier for me to get to the ball, with him going up with two hands than one hand, because it's hard to find the ball with one hand. But I went up, and I thought I got a piece of it. And I wasn't sure how clean it was. I thought it was pretty clean. And he's strong enough. He still got the ball to the rim. I was just hoping it wasn't going in. And it came out. And they called the foul. Given in those type of situations how fast it's going, usually they do call fouls as, contact. And if a guy, and he came down funny, I wasn't sure what happened. And I just saw him grab his knee. And he looked like he was in some pain. He's a tough kid, though. And you never know how serious it is with him because he just walks through and plays through anything. Guy came back on the court like it was nothing with a torn ACL and shot his free throws. But as soon as he came down, I was just like, damn. And then he was laying there for a while. And I knew it was more serious than a normal just bump bruise. And, the rest of his guys, they were making sure that I didn't, I guess, take it the wrong way or feel too bad or guilty about it. It was a clean play. They was like, we know you're not dirty, Iggy. Draymond was like, yeah, you went up for the ball. He just came down funny. It's not your fault. Like, don't even, worry about it. We know you're not a dirty player. And I wanted to check on him at the foul line. He was like, I know you're not. I know you didn't do it purposely. Just, weird play, it happens. So I didn't know the severity of it until after the game. Even after the game, I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't check. And I spoke with Draymond after the game, and I asked him, is he okay? I told him before we celebrated, I congratulated him on the season, shook their hands, and told him to check on Clay for me, make sure he's good. And then I saw him in the hallway after. He said, it's ACL. Then I was like, oh, shit, it's going to be a long summer for not just him but their team. But, it's a tough fall for both of them. Regardless of how much you want to win and compete and you love to beat the best, you never want to see those guys go down and go down that way because they're special players and they have great careers, and you don't want to see their careers change or be hindered or be over because of certain types of plays or injuries, especially the ones that you're involved in.
Danny, talk about Toronto. What do you expect the parade to be like tomorrow?
I expect it to be ridiculously crazy, given the fact of what the videos I've seen being on the road, seeing how they celebrated our wins in the past, even in the Eastern Conference Finals, jumping on fire trucks, street lamps, tearing up the city. So I'm expecting the fans to be, out of their minds tomorrow, but hopefully safely and, enjoying themselves. Should be a good time, though. Should have a good, safe, fun parade. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.